Hello, hello, Stephanie here. I wanted to take you guys through my coffee ritual. So I know I've been talking a ton about coffee and I talk about a ritual, but I haven't actually showed you a ritual, so I'm gonna show you a ritual. This is a really simple one, guys. 5 minutes is all you need in the morning. If you're like sitting there like, my mornings are crazy, how the hell am I gonna have a ritual? Honestly, you guys, bear with me. 5 minutes, it's all you need for this. So what you're gonna need is your coffee. I think it's really important to have a cup dedicated just to your like coffee experience in the morning. And you could have a couple cups, but even if you're like, I'm grabbing my coffee through the drive-through this morning, that's totally fine. But I do think if you have your own special cup, it just amplifies it that much more. I'm actually gonna grab my smudge stick. If you don't have time for a smudge stick, that's okay. I do think a smudge stick is really important, but if you can't do it, go and do what you can from this, okay? I'm gonna grab some crystals. So I'm actually working with selenite today and aura quartz. You grab any crystals that gravitate to you. I talk about this all the time. If there's something that's like calling out to you today, go grab that. I'm actually working with these crystals today because we just moved into Scorpio season and the energy is a little heavier. Not bad, just a little heavier. And so I want something that's really going to lighten up my own energy. So aura quartz is perfect for that. High amplifier. So I want to clear my energy, raise it, and then we're going to use these crystals to give me a nice light energy. Something else you could totally bring with you, not something you have to have, but optional, is mala beads. So if you have mala beads and you already work with them, you can add this into your ritual. And then a spoon. Once again, it could be a stirrer if you're getting your coffee to go, not set in stone. Or if you drink your coffee black, you can totally skip this part. Not a big deal. All right, so this is only gonna take you guys like 5 minutes. That's it. Now, if you're working with a coffee, like say my coffee, for example, that's charged with crystals, this is gonna amplify this experience even more. I'm actually working with Ritual Blend today, which is charged with aura quartz. This is something that I've created to just help ground and also really help you anchor into whatever ritual work you're doing. Rituals don't have to be complicated. There's this idea that rituals have to be like super complicated and time consuming. They don't. Your morning ritual of coffee alone can be done super simple. You don't even have to have all this stuff. I just think it helps. All right, so we have our coffee, and the first thing that we're gonna do is I'm just gonna smudge really quick. I have my window open because I think it's important that you let all of the energy out. I'm using Palo Santo just because it doesn't create a ton of smoke like if I was using sage, and I need something quick. So I'm just gonna smudge myself, and I'm thinking about clearing out any vibration that's not working for me right now. And I'm gonna go through my whole body. All right, and I'm focusing, which is a big part on smudging, is intent, on taking out any energy that's not serving me. So what I've basically done is created a clear palette for myself. I've cleared out anything that wasn't working. This is what's really important, because even though like we were sleeping probably before we did this coffee ritual, we don't know what kind of toxic debris maybe we picked up when we were sleeping. Maybe we didn't have a great dream. Maybe we woke up and the kids were crazy. Who knows? So we just cleared everything out. Now I've got selenite because selenite is really good at clearing and amplifying as well. So I'm going to use this with my quartz because the quartz is going to help raise my vibration. And my intent with this quartz today is I want to have a nice, light, airy energy. Scorpio season tends to be a little bit like I said before, heavy. It's intense. So I want something that's nice and light and airy. And it's gonna make me feel happy. So I'm setting this intention of calmness today. So these are the crystals that I'm gonna use for that. Now, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a couple nice deep breaths. So I wanna say about 3 at least. Now, if you have more time, I think the longer you can get some nice deep breaths and relax your nervous system, the better. And I'm gonna hit this because otherwise my phone's gonna go out. Okay. Now, if you're drinking your coffee with cream or sugar, you can go ahead and take your spoon. And as you're stirring this, I want you to think about something, a moment, whatever it is that makes you really happy. And I want you to stir your coffee at least 3 times. So what we're doing with this is we are connecting our physical body to our mental body. All right. So we're creating a vibration. We're thinking of something happy and we're connecting it to a movement. All right. This is really important because it really helps anchor it into your body. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to hold our coffee and we're just going to take a couple of nice deep breaths again. And I like to really think about my coffee. Like, what about coffee makes me happy? I love everything about it. I love the way it smells. I love the way it feels in my hand. I love the way it tastes. And so I'm just once again connecting to this feeling of happiness. Then I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. Now I'm going to go back to that happy thought and I'm going to think about it. And I'm going to take my hand and I'm just going to tug at my ear a little bit. It shouldn't hurt, just a little tug. And I'm just going to take those at least 3 deep breaths, ideally 10 if you have time, and think about that happy moment again. And if you have time, you could really take some time with this and just sit in it and imagine you're back in that moment. Like, my happy moment is always being on Lake Tahoe with my family. And so I like to imagine like being on the rocks and like playing in the water and like the first time I saw Tahoe and like how excited I was. And I really like to put myself in that because what it's doing is it's bringing up a happy memory. So it's raising my vibration. By tugging at my ear, I'm anchoring this in. Okay? So then if we're in a stressful moment during the day, I can always go back to this by just gently tugging at my ear. I've connected it now. This is a neuro-linguistic technique and it works really good, you guys. So I always like to add this in with my coffee in the morning because then it's like, okay, if all hell breaks loose today, I have this sort of like technique that takes me back to that higher vibration. And then I can go back to like my intention for the day. All right. So now what we're going to do, our vibration's nice and high. And I'm going to just sip on my coffee and I'm going to set my intention for the day. Now you can do this any way you want. If you have time, you could write your intentions down. If you don't have time, it's simply like stating your intention. So for me today, I'm going to set an intention of being productive yet calm because we're in Scorpio season and Scorpio season tends to make me a little bit more neurotic and a little more nervous. So I want to be productive, but I also want to be calm. So I'm going to set that intention. And the whole time I'm drinking my coffee, I'm thinking about that intention. And the cool thing about coffee, guys, is there's no coincidence that we drink coffee. This is something that people have been using for centuries. Monks have used this, the popes used to use this, because they know that there's magical properties in coffee. It is governed by the planet Mars, and Mars is all about action and drive. So what we're going to do is as we're sipping this coffee, we're really going to focus on connecting with Mars. And it's as simple as going, hey, I want to use some Mars energy today. Mars gives me drive. Mars gives me action. And we're going to take those positive qualities of Mars and we're going to put those, because they're already in our coffee, into our intention for the day. So for me, I want to take that drive, which I'm literally sipping on Mars right now, and I'm going to think about what I want to do today. I want to be productive. Perfect goal for Mars. But whatever your goal is, maybe you just want to have a good day. I want to be fucking happy today. I'm going to be happy today. We're going to take that Mars energy and we're going to put it into being happy or whatever your intention is for the day. So all you've got to do is sip your coffee and think about that intention. Super simple. Now, you could take this a step further and you could write your intention out. There are days when I have time and I sit and I write down my intention for the day. And this also helps anchor it. The more you do with your intention, the more you anchor it. Another cool thing I like to do are mala beads. So you could literally go through each mala bead and say it out loud or to yourself and be like, I will be highly productive and calm today. I will be productive and calm today. All the way through. All this is doing is once again connecting our physical body with that intention and anchoring it just a little bit more. And so when I talk about anchoring, what I'm saying is we're taking that idea and we're really solidifying it and it's anchoring into our soul. It's stuck there. Okay. I also like to think about when I anchor in is literally kind of digging my feet into the ground. Like I always envision tree roots really grounding me and rooting me. And this takes this good intention and it anchors it in. It's like solid then. You ever think about like an actual anchor for a boat, right? Like it keeps the boat where it needs to be. So this intention is now anchored in because I've done things like sipping on my coffee and saying the intention. So now it's anchored into my day. So all you're going to do is sip on your coffee and mentally or out loud say what you want to have happen. And that's all it is, guys. And the other cool thing about this is, let's say maybe you drink more than 1 cup of coffee during the day. If you have a moment and you're like, I'm like off track right now, you can grab a cup of coffee and you can just sip on your coffee and be like, okay, let's anchor back into whatever my intention was for the day. You could also do this with you could do it with anything, guys. The coffee just amplifies it because we're working with the planet Mars, and also like my coffee is already charged and it's already got the intention of things like this. But you could do this with your water in the morning. You could do this with a cup of tea. It doesn't necessarily have to be coffee. This just helps amplify it a little bit more. But if you're a tea drinker, by all means, you could do the same exact thing. And then you could do the same thing like if you wanted to, maybe you're having a rough day, grab a cup of coffee in the afternoon and do the same thing. It doesn't have to be a big cup of coffee. If you notice, like this is like a little bitty tumbler. It's not big. It doesn't have to be a massive cup, okay? It's really about setting these intentions and working with the energy that's going to support your intention for the day. All right, now go try it and tell me how much you love it.